Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. So, I'm feeling good right now. New York Knicks fans, you should be feeling good. Yes, the game was scary. We're up double digits a couple times in that game. The Raptors came back, got some momentum, but the big key was that they didn't end up getting any huge lead. The New York Knicks did respond to that adversity and step up in big time moments. The New York Knicks came out victorious in Canada, the final score being 112-108. We're currently on a 4-game winning streak, and then we play the Milwaukee Bucks next on Monday. And the Bucks definitely are going to be looking for some revenge, not against us, but they just came off of a huge loss to one of the worst teams in basketball, the Charlotte Hornets, last night. So they're definitely going to be looking for a commanding victory. So the New York Knicks are currently 22-18 on the season, and the reason why this is such a big deal, well, first off, just win the game in general. Continue your winning streak, build up another winning streak. But on top of that, the last time you played the Raptors, Pascal Siakam, 52 points. You folded down the stretch offensively. You folded down the stretch defensively. You couldn't box out. Stagnant offense. Fred VanVleet killed us as well. Yes, Pascal Siakam had an amazing game, but there are flat out things we could have done better defensively. And then you put on top of it that we haven't won in Toronto since 2015. Since 2015, when Jeff Hornacek was our head coach, freaking Lance Thomas was out there on the basketball floor. Kristaps Porzingis was watching from the sidelines for those closing seconds of that game. We still had Carmelo Anthony. It went down to the wire that Luis Scola had to heave up a half-court last-second prayer to try to win that game, but the New York Knicks did come out victorious, and I feel like it's always close, though, when we do play in Canada. Just remember Linsanity, Jeremy Lin's game-winning shot there. That was a close game. It's always very tough when you do go on to play the Toronto Raptors, especially when it comes to this team. Yes, they're struggling this season, but you never know what Raptors team you're going to get when they have length and they have athleticism. But Scotty Barnes has been disappointing year two after winning Rookie of the Year, but I do think he'll be fine. He's still a young player in this league that has a good work ethic. But I absolutely love this win by the New York Knicks. I thought it was a collective effort, a good team effort, and just good execution down the stretch when this game did get scary, because we had a 10-point lead at halftime, but you could say that it should have even been like we should have been up like 16 points, like 13, 14 points if we did execute offensively in those closing seconds of that first half. And Chris Boucher scored like 6 straight points for the Toronto Raptors as well. I didn't think we were really keyed in defensively to close out that half. I thought we got a little too comfortable closing out that half, but I just love that we had this next man up mentality. Not that someone got hurt, but that Julius Randle went on to have 19 points in that first quarter, and he couldn't miss from beyond the arc at all. He hit 5 straight three-pointers in that first quarter. I thought he hit that 6-3, but his foot was on the line. And if he hit that 6 straight three in that quarter, that would have been a franchise record that he tied up there with a Quentin Richardson and a John Starks. After that, though, Randall did hit a three, like kind of a momentum changing three in that second half. But yeah, after that, I believe he ended up making 6 3-pointers in this game. He was on pace to have like tons of 3-pointers, but the Raptors eventually keyed in on it. And then also, you could say Randall had to clean up some things after that. But credit to Randall for competing defensively. Credit to him for rebounding the ball at a very high level. Just after that first quarter, him really shooting the ball well. We're only up for 3 points after that first quarter. By the way, yes, it was contagious. Quentin Grimes knocked down a three. I believe he had a very nice drive to the basket. By the way, I love the way Jalen Brunson played in this game. There's a lot of good performances in this game, but I thought Brunson played at the right pace. I thought he had a good combination of scoring the basketball, distributing the ball, shooting it from beyond the arc at a solid level, pull up from mid-range territory, getting to that floater as well. Obviously, had that huge key and one to really seal the game or really be the pivotal moment of what helped us win that game when we were able to go on another run. Because when you take a look at that second quarter, I was carving up the Raptors. We were up 17 points at one point in that second quarter. You have Jalen Brunson who hit back-to-back threes. Quentin Grimes was able to flash or get to that mid-range and pull up from mid-range territory and knock it down. Brunson made a very nice read to find Grimes. Jericho Sims was even setting really good screens to free up a Quentin Grimes for three as well. I thought Grimes played very well offensively, played pretty decent on the defense side of the basketball. He's contagious when it comes to moving the basketball. He just played with a very high motor. He had Mitchell Robinson, who also had an offensive rebound, or he was just a beast on the boards in general. I believe he had 8 or 9 offensive rebounds. He had 18 total rebounds. He did a good job defending the interior in big moments, but he had 10 points. And in that second quarter, I believe when we're going on that run and just 4 seconds left on the shot clock, we're inbounding it under our own basket. Bronson, rapid, quick decision, just good recognition by him, found Mitchell Robinson when the shot clock was winding down for a dunk. Just Brunson's vision out there and him hitting big buckets, and I'm sure he wants a couple free throws back. Don't get me wrong, but he did knock down that big free throw when it was an and one. But when the Knicks were going on this run, Randle, yes, he did cool off, but he knocked down a mid range as well in the second quarter. But when the Knicks did eventually cool off, and we're up 10 entering the half, and the third quarter we come out, Gary Trent Jr. is knocking down threes, or Gary Trent Jr. is just getting his scoring wise because he's a microwave player. You never know what Gary Trent Jr. you're gonna get, but when Fred VanVleet's heating up, when he's playing at a pretty high level, OG Anunoby's competing defensively as well. They're just a collective, good, solid team when they're on because they're not even at 500 this season, but they have length, they have athleticism at the end of the day, which really does benefit them on both ends of the floor. But we were just able to overcome adversity when adversity did hit, when they were able to cut it to a 5-point game at one point after being up only 10. And Emmanuel quickly was just able to finish quarter strong and start a quarter very strong as well, because there were some turnovers that, like, we had a huge turnover which resulted in Fred VanVleet getting a layup in transition, or someone got an easy bucket which made it a 3-point game, or even when they cut it down to one, because the offense got stagnant. I thought we are over dribbling at times, and that has to do with Randle. Like, Randle played brilliant in that first quarter. He did finish over 30, but you have to keep in mind he had 19 in that first quarter. He did hit a pretty big, kind of big, I'm not going to say huge momentum changing shot, but he hit a momentum changing shot when it came to that fourth quarter, when it came to a mid range. But to give him credit here, when, our offense is stagnant, and I don't even think our defense was necessarily terrible in the third quarter. There was a late rotation, or we allowed dribble penetration. There was late help, but there was a shot also, I remember, in that fourth quarter, Gary Trent Jr. just knocked down a ridiculous three. But when they did eventually cut it to a 1-point game in that third quarter, Julius Randle did hit a timely three. So you have to give credit to him there. And then when we did foul Fred VanVleet going to the basket, he had a chance to tie the game, missed a free throw, but then quickly did a good job drawing a foul, him knocking down a free throw as well, or knock down free throws to give us a 3-point lead entering that fourth quarter. But quickly had some very nice buckets in that fourth quarter. He had 15 points, but they all came in like momentum-changing moments, or giving us some comfortable leads during the time. He had a floater. He had one ridiculous floater as well that he was off balance. He put it up and he put it in. Got to the free throw line. He rebounded the ball at a very high level. Competed hard defensively. He's just contagious when it comes to rebounding the basketball as well. He plays with so much energy and he just gives a shit, which I truly love about Emmanuel quickly. But yeah, we start going on a run, but then the Toronto Raptors do respond. Jalen Brunson's knocking down, he knocked out a really nice mid-range shot when it came to the corner. Like, he was just a 3-level scorer this game, and his shots came in important moments as well. That's what matters to me. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And seeing that Randle kind of cooled off, or at one point he was on pace for 40 or 50 points. He still had a solid game, or still had a good game, don't get me wrong, but you need others to step up. This is a game we would have lost last year because we wouldn't have had, we didn't have Jalen Brunson last year. And you have to keep in mind, we don't have RJ Barrett. So the way Brunson stepped up, the way Emmanuel quickly stepped up, you definitely do have to give him credit. But the way we're just rolling, we end up being up double digits again. And then the Raptors go on this run. It's Gary Trent Jr. Even Siakam didn't have a crazy amount of points, which I love to see. He didn't even have 20 points, but then you had Fred VanVleet get big buckets to really give them momentum changing shots, which was huge for them, especially because they're at home. They're like, let's keep the streak going. I believe they had 11 straight wins against us when it came to playing in Canada. Like I said, we haven't won since 2015. But Miles McBride, someone who just plays so damn hard, competes defensively, and reads passing lanes well, makes the extra pass within the offense. He's a team player. He's been struggling with his three-point shot this season when he has come in. And maybe his confidence was different in the G League, because I believe he was shooting it well in the G League. But the G League's just a whole totally different beast. Especially, you have to think about his roles different. He's probably the number one option over there, or one of the top options in the offense. So you can see the confidence is different. The way he's getting shots is different. But then the closeouts, the competition defensively, may be totally different as well when it comes to that. I'm not going to say athleticism, because there's still big-time athleticism in the G League, but there's just more rawness, you can say, of really being fully developed. But when they cut it down to a 7 or 8-point game, Miles McBride ends up hitting 2 back-to-back threes, and just having quickly with that ridiculous floater, like I said, or that shot off the glass. Randle hitting a mid-range, Randle hitting a 3 as well when the Raptors were coming back. We just had guys get buckets when we needed to get buckets, and Mitchell Robinson did end up fouling out, but I loved his interior defense when he was out there on the floor, the way he rebounded, the way Brunson threw a lob to Mitchell Robinson, nice pass by Jalen Brunson, but we stepped up when it mattered most, and that was the key thing. But even when McBride made it a double-digit lead again, the Raptors go on an 8-0 run in 56 seconds. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we're just not going to make it easy. It is never freaking easy. And there was one play, like I mentioned earlier, that they're able to drive baseline or they had an easy bucket baseline. Julius Randle, I'm not going to say Julius Randle gave up. I believe he helped on it. I don't think it was his guy, but there was a late recovery. We weren't able to get to it. Trent Jr. hit a ridiculous three as well. It was just extremely frustrating. And even Christian Koloklo, who didn't really have a crazy game or anything like that, he's the rookie out of Arizona. I believe he had an offensive rebound. He put it up in. And so the Raptors were just thriving during this run. We weren't really able to get much offensively at the end of the day. But then after Trent Jr. actually hits a ridiculous clutch shot, I believe after that, Jalen Brunson drives down the lane. Like, he hits this crazy clutch shot to cut it to like a 3 or 2 point game in this instance. But Jalen Brunson's like, I'm the guy here. Like, all that adversity that hit me before, I don't care. Jalen Brunson drives down the lane on the left side. I believe he gets someone up in the air, draws the foul, executes a 3 point play, finishes through contact, and makes the free throw on top of that. And that was pretty much the momentum changing shot, because after that, I believe Trent Jr. did get a layup to kind of like to a 3 or 4 point game. Then I believe we got like Jalen Brunson got free throws and he knocked down like he was 1 for 2. You just want to see these guys make free throws. I know Randall missed a free throw as well, but then on the other end, I believe there's like 14 seconds left. Maybe it was like a 4 or 5 point game during this instance. And for it to really be a game, Scotty Barnes needed to execute on offense, which he didn't. I believe he shot it too hard off the glass, didn't go in. The Knicks kept possession of the basketball and won the game. And it was so funny that Julius Randle, when he went to pass the ball to Brunson, like just to run the clock out, so there was no free throws and they just won the game. I believe he accidentally hit Brunson when he wasn't looking, or passed the ball to him when he wasn't looking. But just a team win. Brunson played at a good pace. He competed, and Fred VanVleet's a tough assignment. Yes, Fred VanVleet's been up and down this season. Offensively, he's been inefficient this season, just like last year. But he's suffering a back injury. He's playing through a back injury. He's still someone that's able to overcome adversity, get big time buckets as well. And then on top of that, yes, he's smaller like a Brunson, but he can compete defensively. Both these guys came in the league with a chip on their shoulder, and credit to VanVleet, played a very tough game. Love the way Brunson played. Well-bounced attacking the basket, mid-range, 3-point shot. Hit some, like a mid-range shot, which was huge in this game as well. But Randall, yes, he didn't end up having a 40-point night, but he helped as well. Just everyone helped. Everyone contributed. You just loved seeing the overall effort by the New York Knicks and the Milwaukee Bucks. That's going to be a tough game. We'll see if we win 5 in a row, but they just came off of an embarrassing loss to the Charlotte Hornets. We play the Bucks Monday. And thank you guys so much for a great amount of support. Peace out, y'all.